Once again, sensory overload has to be something that both these teams have to avoid, especially on a map like this where I feel like it really is so likely to happen.
It could, although I will at least ascertain for alterego that this is a map that they also have somewhat of a high percentage win chance on. The last time we saw them here, the most recent was actually against Global Esports. Well, Delby was able to just drop down 20 kills and just an absolutely dominating performance against the South Asian team. Of course, this is going to be a different caliber of hits. This is a team that we do know just thrives in the Fracture map. But speaking of which, though, nice little spread here for alterego. paperrex, uncharacteristically very slow on the approach, but they're just waiting for the setups. As I mentioned, I think this is because they just don't want the blade to hit onto one of their players, especially Benkai. But look at that trade. Even through the swap out onto the shorty, still no damage really done too much, leaving Delby, Adern King, as well as Kush to just try to play for the retake. Adern able to at least pop himself in onto Arcade with that flash. Push out from the open, trying to fight with a frenzy. Not going to work in the end. And as Adern gets spotted, though, they need to be thrown out. Forsaken's right then and there. And even if he can try to even it out against Forsaken.
That range, right? Wow. The exact. I love this moment. The bit of a leapfrog. What's up? As Jin gets Noxy, we see Forsaken get an immediate triple kill for himself. And like I mentioned, too much damage and too many fronts is exactly the theme of Fracture, and paperrex have been maximizing that to the best of their abilities. Now, since they have all these upgraded weapons in hands, a little bit of craftiness is to be expected from alterego, as the utility retaliation is there. No damage has been done, but the rendezvous has been heard. And the boombots, they've already made first contact, but so far no extraterrestrial life, apparently.
Oh, Adern King, though, wanting to go for the swing onto contact. Where did Forsaken come from? I think he just slid right in. Oh, that is just sickening. Kush to remain. He's going to be just trapped all the way through spawn. Probably expecting somebody's going to be just lurking at B. Maybe trying to go for a sandwich, but... Oh, that's also why he's holding such an awkward angle. It's because of the shorty. I don't know if he has a classic that he can just switch it out of, but... Yeah, he spotted him already. I think Forsaken should know.
Yeah, probably does already. But I don't think they need to do anything here. Yes, that's gonna remove his ability to run, apparently. Like, oh no! Mind-boggling to me. Yeah, sure, Neon does use her abilities to enhance her ability to run, but let's get back on track here. I guess this is to be expected. Upgraded guns again, and a lot of aggression on the side of Pit. A little sooner, because those holds that they've been really adamant on potentially be the reason, but Kush is here and Axe love you as well, Aserai. They tear this defense, or rather this offense up, getting a stop and getting a big advantage, but history has told us that this third round is usually gonna go to the way of the upgraded weapons. So business as usual. Noxy knocks out Mind Freak. I don't believe in your magic, as Devi, the one man alone on this roster still. But now he will rejoin his...
Oh, nature unravels, especially on that third round. But the contact, as you saw from alterego, they just exploded out on Dish just to catch off paperrex. But it feels like a four-sided die. You just said
a coin.
Well, maybe it could be a paper flip too, right? You know, just try to let the paper sway one way, and that's going to be where it comes from. Wow. Jing! How fast is this man going to be? Almost able to net himself a second. But Adern King able to go for the embrace. Devi, though, reacts in time. Waits for the lurk. I think he's already aware that Delby could be coming right through on the spawn. The timer! Oh, he picked up his rendezvous.
To be honest, I thought Devi was completely blind. That was unfortunate, I feel like. And as he did clench up his fist, he balled it up. But now alterego, Aserai, they have a big advantage here, but still Forsaken. Okay, never mind, I lied! What a spray down!
The work of art that he does with his sprays is a 11 out of 10. That was just absolutely perfect. I think the timing was catch them before they can set anything up. Because usually, you know, a sane person, maybe a new person like me, would just not peek that as soon as. But Forsaken, man, look at that's gonna be a whammy onto the minds of the brains of alterego, dude.
Yeah, you said it again, man. Again, we talk about how Forsaken and the rest of the paperrex boys, they just kind of love to hound on that the more psychological parts of the game. Yes, we have the science, we have the setups, we have the gunfights, which is, I would say, the physical and athletic aspect of the game. As we see a little bit of that, as we see Delby go for that mad sprint Asterai. But look at this, it is a much more aggressive spread for Alter Ego. Has it been working out? No. Apparently not. Oh my goodness, and they're getting torn to bits. Delby gets a trade, but Mind Freak, like you mentioned, still playing with the minds, the hearts, the aim, potentially. Alter Ego, they are still getting torn up to bits. 2v2 now, all of a sudden, paperrex. They turn up the dial. They rev up those fryers, baby. And now Jane gets Noxy.
Oh, Adrian. Last person standing, Raph. Oof. Is he gonna get through this, though? I don't know.
I think let's see what happens, right? Because we have so many calls. We're like, oh yeah, he's not, you know. Wait a minute, relax, stop, no. But Adrian King, like you mentioned, still kind of going in a back and forth here. But now he's in a bit of a corner. The flash is there. But the spray down.
So it was a little bit too thin. Granted, it could actually work, but paperrex feels like they're just everywhere at the same time. You know, is that conundrum, that Twilight Zone feel? It is so scary that I feel like just teams have to respect it. But I don't know, paperrex is one of those teams that can make any map look like their own map.
Well, Alter Ego, they resist vehemently, but like you said, Alter Ego, they are pretty much invaders, an invasive species. Snakeheads. They eat everything up, they disturb the peace, and they do it well. Or, I don't know if you can call that well, but now we go back to where they want to go. B could potentially be a hit. Now, sorry, where do you think Alter Ego's problems lie? I think they've been putting quite a bit of attention towards the opposite side, which is the dish side. But now full contact is going to be seen here. Forsaken with the overdrive. Remember, kids, one is all you need, and Noxy gets that message when paperrex's Jing and the Vi trade it out. And suddenly we have Kush again with a shorty all alone.
Well, he's looking to try to maybe offer something to the Oni Demon. And in change, it's the Singularity Sheriff in tow. Unfortunately.
11-2, and Forsaken as well, 9-2. A lot of space is being... how would I put this? Stingily taken by paperrex. Spot at the right time. Get that 0 point. And now we have the Rolling Thunder. And this time around, it's not the simple one.
Oh! Okay. Kush is starting to beat up. He's gotten 2 already. He's gonna have to fight this tooth and nail by himself. Jing, though, just unfazed by the flash. Unfortunately here, Raph. We'll give paperrex a little bit of contact onto B. Noxy embraces them with the operator. 2 versus 2. And maybe they back away first. But you can see, if that does happen, Adrian King will be the one to fight them in the 2 versus 1 on the A side. The thing now lies, though, is if he relies on his utility, it might be a little bit too slow. So he's going to be relying on this off-angle position. The smoke will come in, and he's still hiding into the corner. This is absolutely perfect for him. But they get through the smoke. Benkai exposed. One on the top side. Sorry, excuse me, not Benkai, but rather Mind Freak exposed. It's going to be Benkai to remain. He's hovered over somewhere on top of the site. Nox is going to be coming through onto Dish. He knows his opponent is down there, but he can't really just try to slowly peek out. That's going to be a little bit awkward if he tries to do so again. But so smart onto Benkai. No way exactly that he absolutely does this. 20 seconds onto the Dream. The flash, the blind. Noxy can't get through. And Benkai can actually reposition to now start planning the spike. 13 seconds. Wall bang. Wall bang. Noxy. The Rolling Thunder. You're dead. Oh, peace out. Oh my god. Hang on. Fault line's still there. He knows he's right there underneath him, and Noxy tries to fake out. It's not simple plays, but Noxy does it. He made so that Benkai glitch or rather
take an emphatic second round. You know what? I don't know how to dissect that for you. Well, I'll try, but Benkai, again, isolating the fights to perfection, and we see quite a bit of mastery. I really thought that the rate of fire on Benkai's gun would have been enough, the mastermind. But it's over, Anakin. I
honestly thought that was such a smart play from Benkai, but as you mentioned, man, Noxy, He's just built different, dude.
Trap destroyed.
This guy, even though he's not as, it feels like he's not as snappy as Forsaken and everything, he just hits those. Anyways, gets away with bloody murder as he finds Forsaken. Delby also finds another. Jing gets a bit of value with that showstopper as it connects onto one. Kush has activated his ultimate as well, and they're gonna have to try to cross this. Benkai very far from the case, or rather, excuse me, Mindfreak very far from the case so that he can just use that wall to get them a little bit situated in. Kush wins the battle, and now it's all down onto Mindfreak, who's already onto the site, but
more sooner and much more quicker. In comparison to Bind, right? Delby again opening it up for his teammates, allowing them to somewhat flood onto the site, despite Divide trying to push out Adrian King. There you go, just that's the value of the KO there. We see enough players on the side of paperrex to maximize the hit on that suppress, whether it comes from the null command or the 0 point. And Kush, he is going to be first contact here. He hears the orb, but does he think that it's a bait? Benkai and the rest of the boys, they now hit underground as Kush is a little hesitant, a little cautious to try and challenge this. Now Divide has linked up with his teammates, and it seems that they've taken extra steps to take into B main. The pressure from Canteen side, or rather Dish side, has been set. How do they move forward? Well, Adrian King is going to put a stop to that. Jing has a quick trade here, and the satchel jump, it's going to give him that space, but Axlovia, the Guardian, cuts him down, putting that halt onto that advance yet again, making this a push a quarter mile at a time. Alterego, we know that they're fantastic sprinters, but it seems that the marathon is going their way, and Kush
Rex plays, and this team is starting to fight back. Even though they don't really have those super safe agents aside from maybe Noxy with the rendezvous out, you just see how they're able to dip and dive out of good positions just to get picks. And
now Alterego, you mentioned, right, that they do have quite a bit of space making to do, and Kush really needing that timing. But look at this, go walk into the site. Maybe the operator's not the best weapon to barrel stuff with, but nobody has discovered that yet. Noxy gets a little bit of safety, but as soon as I say that, I conjure up the bad juju for him. Divide and Benkai left alone. Benkai equals the rounds, like we said, doesn't tell the story. Oh, but even with a quick trade, Axlovia and his stubbornness with the shorty is going to cut the opposition down. Oh, but the spike is still here. Divide, a man on a mission.
They're getting the sights, but there's always that one small space, that one small step at which, again, Alterego is able to bully them out. Yeah, if they can take one part of the map, we'll take the other control of the other one. As now, paperrex just coming to the site. Great stuns overall, and it's trades abound. That settles just a little bit. Jing's gonna have to go away, but I think he just booped onto that barricade on top of the site. It's down to Mindfreak. Spike has been spotted. He's the one to pick it up. 2 versus 1. Tries to reposition, and he hits the headshot onto Axlovia.
Absolutely not. My nervous, absolutely not. But you did say that I don't think we might see the quick approach on the side of paperrex this time around. I think they're going for their more shrewd and shifty playstyle. So far though, Alterego, they've been keeping their reads very, very intact, and the way they've been peeking is also quite tactful, respectful of what paperrex can do. But Noxy, no care in the world with the tour de force, even showing Benkai what the spectator lobby looks like. But Jing is quick on the trade before Noxy gets one more with a shorty. The damage has been done, and the deed could potentially still be in play. Noxy gets a third. No way he walks in with a shorty. Well, Mindfreak says no, certainly. 2v2 now, right? Divide with the operator, but Mindfreak equalizes it, but that's not the key target. They still want to get that plan down. Adrian King doesn't even have that much utility, but the flash, what can he do with a flash? Walks in, decay, the timer, slowing down. Adrian King, the health bar. Well,
just no fear whatsoever, just peeks every single corner, every single angle that he can, and he even got that pick up against Forsaken on the reposition. Absolutely disgusting from Noxy right then and there. And look at this. Yeah, that was at these sites, so it seems like they're going to be a little bit cautious on the contact though. Botline setup is there, the nade as well, the TP out from Noxy, and they baited a certain amount of utility from paperrex as soon as the round started. So this is going to give Alterego a lot more powwow as they come in. Divide very afraid of the contact. Actually abandons his position as well as the classic. So he's going to be playing with one in hand. 4 shots on the headhunter and the shorty. Actually still not too bad. But Alter Ego, yep, this is their round. This is looking really strong. Noxy able to hit a couple more. Mind Freak just gets down to half. Kush gets the refrag as soon as. And now it's all down to Dubai and Benkai. Benkai spins about out into the open. Adrian King is making sure that he can get all of the information that needs be. And this is just no round for paperrex to win. It's all down to Dubai now. And he just does not have the position. I think they know that he has a shorty, right? Could go for
this is the most shorties we've seen in a single series, I feel like. It just feels super common. Yeah, well, Delby already had an idea what Jing might do. Despite the stun up, despite whatever is being thrown in the way of Delby, he's still cutting up this site like a hot knife through butter. Zach Slavia tries to find a little bit of value. And as he does that, he does walk into the side fairly free. Adrian King gets taken out already. Noxy and Delby suddenly. paperrex on a warpath. Forsaken could potentially make this look like a movie. All odds stacked against him. And he has his trusty 6-shooter. But the crossfire is there. Kush is only waiting for the contact. No way he wins.
Though to actually have allowed that to happen, but the cheekiness at which, again, paperrex just times their pushes and the fast kills that follow soon after is incredibly good to make it expensive for Alter Ego here. As again, it was a very, very good round from Kush. Like, he was down to 20 HP, so a 180 from Forsaken might have actually given them the thrifty round if need be. Anyways, this will again force the... Is it the weaker buy? It's actually the weaker buy for Alter Ego here. Still, they push out with 3 or 4 out immediately outside of A main. Devi's gonna be alone here, but still does have the TP. Mind Freak just waiting through his teeny tiny wall. Drenkin gets the pick as soon right after. But the Vi still holding very hardly outside of A main. Good headshot angle. Noxy hits the body for the 1 versus 1. And Benkai, where does this man lie? Right behind on A main.
Oh no. Is he gonna wait for the rendezvous? Is
could.
he gonna shiv Noxy? Noxy, don't press E. Whatever you do. Okay, well now he sees Benkai. Is like, yeah, well, maybe not. As Benkai... Maybe this is the bait. He has it. That's the first half of the play. Can he finish it? It's all about execution. Noxy's completely blind. He fires the shot. And Asterai, that's exactly what
Look at your minimap when you're just running, right? There's that huge circle that pops out when you're moving, especially when you're running. And I thought that Noxy could have actually heard that, but somehow Benkai still is able to get through, at least through the positioning of Noxy, unfortunately, and able to get in up close and personal. Nice little relay bolt there against Nox, but no peek will be had just yet. Alter Ego back onto the full purchase here. But it's Alter Ego. They're actually going to be just looking straight up into the A side as they start to charge right in. Delby clearing it out with the help from his fast lane. Drenkin gets 1. Isolation from him against Benkai. They can't really find the pick just yet. Aftershock just to give them a little bit more leeway to get into the site. But Alter Ego's starting to get dismantled here a little bit more, Raph.
Well, I think they're the ones doing the dismantling here as Benkai tries to answer back with this defensive side on paperrex. I would say somewhat lacking. Alter Ego, though, they have been turning it up all the way to 15, 100 out of 10. As the speed has been the thing that's been killing paperrex, they have to find some sort of stopping power here. And I guess the most obvious choice would be the Devi Benkai combo when it comes to utility, right? Mind Freak as well on that Viper. But Jing doing the best he can to make this economically unfeasible for Alter Ego, but unfortunately for Jing, there's not enough time for him to realistically do anything around the contest. Again, that rifle that they found is just the...
No, I think it feels like there just is so much quickness to how Alter Ego do this again. I thought I mentioned how that was the case for paperrex, but it seems like it's the overall case, right? For
assertiveness on the defensive side, they haven't really pushed up some other areas of the map, but look at this, as there's still so much presence and so much priority being shown towards the dish side of things. But despite this, paperrex is still miles away, and maybe we'll even see Mind Freak be left alone here. He only has a classic, so maybe he's just going to be a meaty, over-glorified Sova drone.
Lots of prep already. There it is. There's a pop. Ooh, a little bit of a boost there from Delby. Actually takes some fall damage, but he's still very close to his teammates. As soon as the phase, or the concuss fades, Michi just looks for an angle here onto Sands. paperrex are going to have to fight tooth and nail for this. One is hiding in the back of the side. That's Noxy with the reposition. And he gets two. Could even get a third. Repositions back. Cannot see TP out. And this is just, again, faltering so hard for paperrex, unfortunately. Delby gets him and his team on A main. Here's the swing from Devi. But there's 3, 4 looking at the contact. This is so difficult for Devi to even just have a bit of glimmer, a bit of peekage through A main. Gets tagged. Has to fight with, I think, just a
gust of wind, maybe a gale at the beginning, but already a tempest tearing through this defense. And it still begs the question, what is paperrex? What do they need to adjust here? Because I feel like the most obvious thing that we've seen in these previous rounds, granted this wasn't eco, or at least not paperrex, on fracture, as once again they go for that buddy system. Right now we see the breach and the neon here trying to take control of A, and now we see the raise and the chamber on the other side of the world. But look at this. I love how compact and I would say thirdly alterego is, knowing that paperrex should have an almost full arsenal of weapons here. Granted, Forsaken's probably going to rely on that overdrive, and Jing has a showstopper to supplement whatever space that they want to retake. But time is still winding down, even though there's quite a bit of round. Now, sir, I want to hear your input on this. How do you think paperrex can manage to get an early halt onto this? Because once again, look at that. They kind of spread out still with the Nultimat. I mean, the 0 point. But look at this. paperrex, they trail it up. The defense is finally come alive. But Axe loves you, puts him back into the grave. Now, 3v1. Well, they've answered my question for me. The answer is shoot good. Ability, later. We just shoot good. We shoot really, really good. And the defensive line, it stays intact.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It feels like they've been a lot more
30 seconds
reliant on what abilities they can throw to delay alterego. But again, alterego rush at the speed at which they can't really be picked off of, right? Still going to be a buy for alterego, but I really love the setup that they got themselves in on. But I also will say that it was very important that paperrex were able to...
I can't leave you alone, buddy. This is just too much of a perilous task. But they do go back to back here. And Noxy removing the showstopper for Jing, but Forsaken gets a trade across the board, or at least across the map. And now suddenly we're still in a bit of a shifting tide here. A warp in reality as Forsaken could find contact. Kush does find Forsaken. Beautiful eye as Aserai finds that Benkai also gets a trade. Kush, who's been blazing hot, who's been red hot, has been somewhat doused. And now alterego, they still have site control, but Mindfreak, if he gets his feet planted on the site, then that's going to be the Viper's Pit almost immediately being expended.
Now on the retake, they're able to at least gap themselves onto the side. Delby, as you can see, is so near onto the flank that if paperrex are slow at this, this is going to be absolutely horrendous for them in particular. Axe now uses the orbital strike to delay them even further. Benkai gets gobbled up by the ultimate, and Delby comes in for the swing. That is not yet halved. He needs to hit the shot, but Delby's so quick.
A little more hesitant with their approach here. And I'm not entirely sure why they strayed away from having aggressive sands control on it. At the very least, they had one power position in the map that they could create a little bit of a forward operating base. But, well, there we go. Devi's like, yeah, this is exactly why. We get a shot, we get a tag, we get some value. And Delby, who's been spearheading this operation, this assault, has been broken, Aserai. He's not going to be seen anytime soon. Jing with a trade as Kush, who was nearly the star of the last round, gets the, once again, theoretical spearhead for paperrex as well.
This is going to be bad for Devi. There's one already holding on to tower, so he repositions quickly on Dice here just to get a little bit more cover right behind him. It's actually working. He got the first trade off. Noxy does get the pick in the end. There's still some value here. Forsaken has made his presence known on B main, but can't really push through that because he only does have the judge. Noxy trying to see if somebody's going to be peeked through the smoke, but he's had enough. He wants to peek by himself. Ultimate used by Kush just to stop Forsaken from sliding right in. Still gets the reposition, and look at that. Forsaken pops off for the round.
Honestly, it was a bit of a drought on their end, and it looked incredibly... They looked incredibly famished, because... Well, Alter Ego, man. They've been doing Alter Ego things. By far, this is the best showing they've had in the series. And it's incredibly difficult to tell who had... No, definitely paperrex with the gun advantage. No questions about it.
Well, without the KO being on the side of paperrex, Delby can just do this. Oh, the side to fade away. Still, if he can hit that shot, that would be monstrous. But Jing comes in out of nowhere. Oh my goodness, Jing, how do you do this? Goes for the punish. The bio might have been the sacrificial lamb, but Jing was the one to pop out in the end. I summon Jing in attack position. It's only a Dren King spotted out in the open. I think Forsaken was able to actually get a glimpse of him. Now it's a 3 versus 1. One into the corner. He gets the... I had this operator.
Like you said, a bit of a giant tornado removing all the utility, the traps, the spells that Alter Ego could have potentially thrown out. But like you said, with Jing in attack position, and that's Forsaken perhaps, who's been, once again, Aserai, a standout performer.
Speaking of standout performers, gotta give it to Jing as well. Somehow this guy, this player, is able to get so much value off of just these teeny tiny bits of contact. And speaking of which, Noxy not far behind. They're being able to get the one up against his opponent there. Benkai, this is a one and done. He is just full blinded and is somehow gets through all the smokes. Unfortunately, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. It's absolutely not. Jing though, okay, hang on. Jing is starting to reel right back up. The plant on the spike is on Dice. He hits the shot. Oh my god, Jing was almost...
Potentially Swords of Blinding Light, but a Mirror Force going in the way of Alter Ego as they repel and do such a great job of holding down the fort against paperrex, who did look like they had a bit of a rallying cry. A bit of reinvigoration, so to speak. Jing so close, yet so far on that clutch. As that's something that he has to kind of move forward from. Delby nearly becomes a victim of bad timing. Mind Freak gets a big double. But Axlovia is on that trade with a Guardian, and that's going to help their cause to get upgraded weapons. But the Vi playing Duck Hunt takes the axe out of the air. And now we see an even more perilous journey. Because the Vi is so sharp, he even gets a third, Aserai. And
revenge against Noxy from this kind of disrespecting his hold on A main with the operator. He's brought out the tour de force. That flash made kalma sa trash talk. Neon. Alright, Delby's gonna come in. Alright, we're not done just yet.
We're not done just yet. And once we hear that coveted voice line that everybody's such a fan of, it's Delby who gets a trade. Oh my goodness, the buff, Aserai. I am so done with you, but Jing and the rest of paperrex, they explode. Now Jing still up in the sky. Adrian King and Noxy still to hold on to the crowns. But Jing crowns Adrian King with lead, ferocity, and violence as Noxy, who's clutched this exact same position, gets a bit of an upgrade. But look at that. The spike gets within arm's reach, but a minute is left to be had. So really a lot of playtime here. Can he get those teleports up, those rendezvous points, those anchors set? Mind Freak. Look at Jing and Benkai. Don't worry, I got you. Don't worry. And you can see there is no disparity with what they're aiming at. And it
and here we are once again to OT. Look at the just off-angle positions. Delby, he almost really had it, but it felt like, yeah, it felt like paperrex just had everything around. They're gonna have to buy a naked operator for Noxy.
A naked one, but Noxy kind of disturbing the peace. Once again, showing up, finding one more with, as you mentioned, a bit of a nude operator. I would say glass cannon would have been an optimal choice. Doesn't really matter, Aserai. The setup is just a little too crazy. And finally, put some clothes on, man. Benkai tells Noxy, no more indecency for you. And the fault line is perfect. He isolates it. Adrian King, breach versus breach. The 1v1 of a lifetime, potentially the first mark of greatness for this overtime as the cards have been shuffled. Oh, indeed. A bit of a dichotomy in ideas, potentially an Ignister situation, as we could see both of the same, you know, they're the same cards and all, but Jing has no frills of just dropping 30 on the head of Alter Ego. Noxy, who's been found for going with that glass cannon. What happened to Delby there? A little bit of confusion, maybe again a little bit of sensory overload on his end. But paperrex, only 3 members alive.
Oh, this is bad. Agent's got an access to his ultimate there. The delay for Forsaken for just a teeny tiny bit, but this is a pinch. This is sandwich. It's one onto the side. Benkai still gets some value. Doesn't know that one has gotten through on A main. Forsaken does Forsaken things. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. And Devi, he's risked the purchase on the operator. Oh no, he doesn't even have any headhunters. It's only this and just a pistol in hand. This is gonna be just absolutely impossible for him to handle. That smoke's about to dissipate, and he's gonna be out in the open for easy pickings for the rest of Alter Ego. We don't even need that. We're gonna go to game number 3 here, Raf. The fight's not over.
What a steal. Potentially a snatch steal on the side of Alter Ego as they return the favor.